Well, the last few weeks may have caused many of us to feel worried or anxious at times. And during these periods of social distancing and self-isolation, it's possibly more vital than ever to remember our mental health can be just as important as our physical health. With calls to one charity helpline up 150%, Chloe Keedy has been looking at the effects of the lockdown and what help there is out there.
As an anxiety sufferer, I've always had big worries, what if something happens to so-and-so? What if something happens to this and that? But it's never been so present in such an all-consuming way, and there's never been so many things to worry about at the same time.
SARA doesn't have any physical symptoms, but coronavirus is taking a huge toll on her mental health.
I spent a good week and a half curled up in a ball, just completely unable to function. And it was just amazing to me how physical the symptoms were, because my anxiety has always been pretty high. And I thought, well, I know what the worst of it feels like, but I really actually didn't know what the worst of it felt like.
Do you feel anxious about the virus itself, or is it more about the way that life has changed as a result of the virus?
I would say both. My worries sort of ripple out and out and out, and there's a feeling of helplessness because there's not a lot you can do from the confines of your living room.
The mental health side effects of being trapped at home is something experts at University College London are tracking. 40,000 people have already taken part in their survey. The results will help shape the official advice we're all given about how to look after ourselves in isolation.
In terms of what's actually stressing people out the most, we've actually found that there's a much more prevalent stressor around worries for families and friends and worries about getting food. People seem to be generally more concerned about those factors than about actually catching the virus itself. Now, when we look at severe stressors, so the kinds of things that are really worrying people all the time, we find that in those under the age of 30, they're much more concerned about their family and friends catching it than they are about catching it themselves.
We have had a lot of queries over the phone particularly about anxiety.
The charity Rethink has seen traffic to its website go up by 150% since the start of the coronavirus outbreak.
What we've had is both people who have a mental illness, so people who've already been diagnosed with anxiety disorder, and now don't have the same access to the support that they would normally have. But then also we're having contact from people who actually have never been diagnosed with a mental illness previously, and actually this is the first time that they've got these emotions and are needing some advice about how to deal with those.
Laura says remembering to talk to each other is important. For now, by picking up the phone or making a video call. Chloe Keedy, ITV News.